Good morning and welcome to 2025 right here on 106.9 The Country Giant. It's time for the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between with Hodge, Misty, Ed, and Josh getting you ready to kick off the new year. I hope your resolution, if you had them and you started them, they're still going well. For some in the college football world, they don't go on vacation. I don't know. Deep down, I don't know what they do when they lose. I know in the NFL, they all go to Cancun or a beach or somewhere. But we are here ready for you again, Hodge Pack. Brought to you by Lida Lane Cattle. We are in the Mall of Abilene, our Potosi Life Studios. The mall walkers will be walking soon. And again, there are some college football teams in the playoff world that are walking out the door and maybe going to take finals. I don't know what you do, but Hodge is here. Misty, Josh, how are we?
We are good.
Doing very well.
It's good. It's good to be back. Was driving in last night to make it. And again, I always compare feeling like these people that you see, and they have to take the red-eye flight from wherever they're covering the game, and then they're on TV the next day. That's kind of the way I felt. We were driving in from Colorado. I took over the reins in Dalhart, beautiful Dalhart Wolves, and drove in and got in about 11:45 last night and ready to talk a lot of stuff. There's so much to talk about. Josh, how's the New Year's resolutions, or do you set them?
No, I have principles against New Year's resolutions. I think we discussed this on the program before.
Yeah, I didn't think you did. How many black-eyed peas did you trust in?
One spoonful.
Oh, wow, okay.
Maybe two. Didn't have a lot.
No peas for me. I cannot.
I like black-eyed peas. I mean, I don't have.
So you ate them for pleasure, not for fortune.
Well, it is a tradition. So that I've done that every year. It did not fit into my New Year's Day plan, to have it as part of a meal. So just like opened up a can of black-eyed peas to have a bite.
Well,
I usually don't do canned black-eyed peas, but it was,
Ohio State opened up a can.
Yeah, it did.
But it wasn't black-eyed peas. All right, Misty, you were the Bible recap achiever.
Yes.
So what's this new one? Do we have a new one?
So
And have we passed it? Are we still doing what was
Did you
it?
ever take a test or what was that?
I know, right? I still have a lot to learn. No, so I decided some people do it again and again because obviously like there's so much information to learn. I am just doing different studies now.
Okay.
So instead of doing it again, I'm still using the app, the Bible app, but I'm doing different studies.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well, good stuff. Well, we have a lot to talk about, and the college football world was huge. And so let's dive into our Lawrence Hall headline report. The Cowboys have their last game of the week. Will it be Mike McCarthy's last game? Black Friday happens. They call it like Black Tuesday or Black Monday for the NFL. Which coaches will be gone? We'll have take it or trash it. But let's dive into our Lawrence Hall headline report. And it is, Josh, we'll talk about it. The Rangers, you got it listed here. 49 days until the Rangers start. What do you think their kind of New Year's resolutions are?
Well, obviously they've got to improve on offense, and I think they're trying to do that with the trade. Sign Jock Peterson to kind of replace him as that left-handed bat. Just shake things up a little bit, and I think that there's more to come as far as that goes, obviously, because it's 49 days to the first spring training game. There's a lot of free agents still out there, possible trade targets, all of that. So it's that hot stove kind of starts to get a little hotter as you get closer to February. So we'll see what happens.
That's the thing about, you mentioned closer to February. I was starting to think about some stuff. I got a conference coming up at the end of this month and the beginning of February. I'm like, that's really not that far away. You start thinking about all these things that are 2 years away and all that. We were talking about that on the ride home. The Ryder Cup's already back again. The Tiger Woods golf game, the virtual video game golf or whatever he's doing, they talked about it like 2 years ago, and it's like, it's starting this year. And before you know it, the Rangers will be here. And I took a picture of it, and I sent a message to him on Instagram, because as we were riding in, I've noticed the whole caravan, the Ranger caravan.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a day that I think you could take your kids. They're all in the Metroplex, and one's in Round Rock, and I don't know if that's going to change, and they'll add Abilene later or what. But There's a date, and I thought about you taking your boys. Maybe I'll tell you about that date
Okay.
later. But yeah, Rangers will be here before you know it, and all the things that go with that. Couple things that, this is the last week, week 17. There are very few games that matter this weekend. There are some that do matter for playoff seeding, for getting in. We'll talk about those. But one of the big ones was that Saquon Barkley had the opportunity to break Eric Dickerson's longtime record since 1984 for the most rushing yards in a season, and he has decided to sit. What's your thoughts on this, Misty? He only needed 101 yards. He had a couple of weeks ago where he sat out and let some other guys play. He's 101 yards shy of that. Do you like the call? Do you respect the call? What would you have done? And as the coach, organization, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I respect the call. Obviously, they're in a great position right now, and he is having a fantastic year. I mean, I love to see records broken, but I respect it. I mean, they're going to need him in the playoffs, and so I respect it. Hate that he didn't get it because I do like him, but I do respect the call.
I agree that it's probably the right decision, and maybe if it was 20, 25 yards, you put him in for a little bit, and but 101 yards is basically going to be the whole game. They've already got the bye in the first round and home field, so there's nothing to play for as far as winning the game. So I guess strategically, team wise, it is the best decision. And unlike you, Misty, I'm fine with an Eagle not having the record. So
well, Eric Dickerson flat out said, I know I don't want him to break it. It still keeps me relevant. It still keeps me the record.
Yeah,
I don't want it broken. I did hear Dan Orlowski say this week, because Dan Orlowski and Greeny were all like, hey, because they're playing the Giants, you probably get this done in the first half.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Needing 101 yards, but it was almost like, does it put even more Super Bowl or bust pressure on the Eagles of saying, hey, you're resting, you're doing all these things, and you're probably right. It's the safest call.
It is.
Because he could get hurt in the first round of the playoffs, all that. But does it make you feel like Super Bowl or bust even higher of a level, which I don't know if he can be if it's Super Bowl or bust. I don't know how much higher they can be, on Saquon and the Eagles for making this call?
Well, I do think people would look back and think like, if they lost in the first round or the second round, I guess since they got the bye, people would be like,
they're not getting the bye. That the reason.
They can't get the bye. The bye's already set.
They're set at number 2.
Yeah, it's whoever wins the
Lions Vikings.
Yeah, the Lions Vikings game. Yeah, I knew that it was already set, but I misremembered who it was. So if they did lose in the first or second round, then I think there would be a little bit of letdown. They're like, well, if that's all you got, you probably should have tried to get the record. But you never know. And hindsight is definitely 20/20, so people will look back and judge it one way or the other. But if he were to go in this game that does not change anything, purely on a let's get the record standpoint, and ended up even just getting dinged up a little bit, people would say like, oh, that was a terrible decision.
Especially with not getting a bye.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. A couple other things. Pro Bowl selections came out. Mahomes left off that list. In the AFC, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow are the selections for the AFC. Mahomes left off. Are you shocked by this, surprised by this, or when all you do is win Super Bowls, kind of like Chris Carter, all he does is catch touchdowns? Do you care if you're Mahomes? I'm
sure he doesn't care. I mean,
what does he have to prove at this point?
It's just an interesting little tidbit, that you think about Mahomes as a superstar, the face of the league, all of those things, and then for him just not to be a Pro Bowler, which he wouldn't have done it anyway. So,
right. And it's kind of like, and again, they play in it, but even if LeBron played till he was 48, LeBron's going to be an NBA All-Star.
Yes, every year.
Every year. He's not out. He's not in it. And of course, we've got tons to talk about the college football playoff. Golf kicked off out in Hawaii. Tommy Hogue is leading the Century tournament, 9 under. Will Zalatoris. Did y'all see that Scotty Scheffler hurt himself cooking?
Yes.
And y'all wonder why I've not been doing it?
Punctured himself with glass. I wonder, like, what? Like, I'm confused by all of that.
How and why?
But I heard. I'm not going to mention his name on air, but a buddy of mine which his son and this guy are friends of mine, was shucking oysters and cut his hand really bad. But y'all wonder why I haven't cooked, and it's dangerous. It's taking down the #1 player in the world in
You
golf.
cooking would be dangerous.
Hey, but did y'all see my taco deal? My little casserole for Christmas? You weren't here last week, Josh.
Leanne showed me the picture.
It was good.
Good. I'm glad
Yeah,
that you
yeah, I'm gonna
took
try
that first step.
It looked sus, but
It
he
did,
said
it did.
He said it tasted good.
No, people went back.
Casseroles sometimes are that way. You know, you look at it, like, I'm not sure about
People
that.
went back for seconds, and it wasn't just me. And so I want to.
Or the picking slim. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
They were starved.
It was a never mind. They had to get the first scoop. They didn't have to get the second.
you're right. I
And
mean,
so, but that is
I
going to be.
don't know.
We've never tried it. I'll have to be the judge.
I am very nice to people when it comes to food and what you make at potlucks and things like that.
Outfits.
Yeah, but I am not above skipping something, and I'm just like usually have a good excuse. Oh, there's so much stuff to choose from. I didn't have room on the plate. But
You better never tell me that my food is good if it's not.
I won't
We
tell
would
you,
not.
I won't.
Y'all, the love is strong.
We
here,
have been
so
in this thing long enough.
It will not offend me.
I called you Waldo on one of your outfits.
You did, and we posted it.
So I don't think you have to worry about us not being truthful with one another when it comes to that. So, but anyway, yeah,
I probably would have skipped it though. If I was going through the line, I'd be like,
I know. Knowing that you made it, I would have skipped it.
I disagree.
wow,
with
that's even more of a dagger. I'm just saying.
I mean,
like,
am I wrong?
do we need
No,
to
no,
put,
no,
do we
I
need to put
disagree with
name tags on all the dishes? Like, who
Yes.
made this? Like,
Honestly, please.
I trust that person. I don't trust you. I'm not eating that.
You have a cat.
Yeah,
You have a cat.
happy birthday to my wife, New Year's Eve, baby. And she's that way. She's not a big fan of potlucks because of that, what you just
It's
said.
scary.
But I'm going to tell you, I disagree with what you said. I think you would be so curiosity would kill the cat that you would want to know if Hodge could cook. And it was good. I will make it next time we have a deal at your house, Josh.
I'm proud of you. I am very proud of you.
I will give it a try.
Okay.
I'll let Josh go first.
Well, we'll tell you who should give a try is the College Football Playoff Committee. Did they get it right? Did they get it wrong? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan of Scam? He might be a scam. Cam Scatterboot. But anyway, we'll talk more about that in the College Football Playoff. Whose brackets right? Whose brackets are struggling? Just like what Misty thinks my cooking might be. But when we come back, the College Football Playoff, we are down to the Final Four, not just in basketball. We have the Final Four in football as well. Again, Lawrence Hall of Abilene, get a hold of them. They will take care of you each and every day if you need a new car, truck, or SUV. When we come back, the College Football Playoff, Final Four is set. Did the committee get it right, wrong? And the SEC, are they bad? We'll be back.
Did y'all see that? And I had it in there, but obviously that segment went fine and we didn't talk about it. But the NFL players getting their houses broken into?
Yes.
Like,
We will add that when we go to NFL talk. But there's been
it's like organized crime.
Yes.
Like, well, but I thought about it as soon as it happened, and I read the first little thing about it, where Pat Mahomes and Kelsey, they were on a road game and their houses both got broken into.
Mm-hmm.
Was it their house in Kansas City?
Well, I don't know.
I'm assuming.
I assumed, but I didn't dig into it because
Yeah.
it could be wherever. But I thought about it and I was like, that's fairly obvious.
Yeah.
Like, you got a schedule.
Yeah.
You know they're gonna be
nobody's there.
gone.
Yeah, they're
Like,
not in Kansas.
You try to, you wait to get home to post your photos that you've been out of town.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone in the world knows exactly where you're going to be on, Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
Well,
Like,
can't rob that guy on the bye week. He'll be home.
Exactly.
and that most likely your family's going to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, and yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder, like, is there no security at all, like when they're gone?
Yeah, how
You
bad?
know, it's like, is there just nobody there at all?
Dak Prescott stepped up his security, hiring additional security and stuff because his baby mama, fiance for 17 years, like she got like thousands of dollars worth of handbags stolen.
Yeah.
Well, he tore down his house and had no place to put them.
Yeah. It's also funny.
But it just makes me
Tear
wonder.
down your house on a Dude Perfect episode, and then just to build a new one in the same place. I mean, that's pretty.
You would just think that if you're Patrick Mahomes, you have security 24/7.
Yeah,
Well, it's not like they live in our
Maybe you don't.
neighborhoods where there's no gate.
No, I know, but like, I don't know, and maybe you don't, but I'm just thinking if I had
Well,
all
but
that
think about-
money and stuff,
I mean, yeah,
I think I would have like 24-hour security.
but think about how, and I know they have a lot of money, but think about how expensive that is.
Yeah, no, you're
I
right.
mean, you just have,
Well, you
and
think
all
about
they
like,
do have full-time security people.
Yeah,
but you think about
but
what Winky
they're
and them
usually
do.
with you when you go to
yeah,
wherever you're
that's
going.
true.
You think about what Winky does, Winky has that security company and they
Uh-huh.
do stuff for Randolph and all different sorts of people. It's it's an expensive
It's expensive.
service.
And if you gotta pay somebody, and I guess the people will start, you're just gonna pay a security guard just to hang out at your house whenever you're
Like
gone.
it's an event.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
I mean, think about it, that security guard, if you get anybody who is trained, background vetted enough to know that he's not gonna be on the, like,
Inside,
on the inside, then.
The water
Well,
bandit.
that's the problem right
Yeah,
there. You
and
can't
then-
trust anybody.
And then you're paying that guy, what, $30 an hour, $50 an hour, just to chill at your house while you're gone?
Yeah,
Like,
I did think it was pretty cool. That Cam Scatterboo got the offensive MVP.
yeah, me too, even though they lost.
I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter about that. It's like, you can't be the most valuable player if your team didn't win.
Yeah,
Like, which, I'm like, I don't know. You're just- What about when he got up and shoved his offensive lineman that was trying to help him up?
yeah. Well, that first half he was fired up at halftime they showed.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. Hot takes, Cam Scatterboo, offensive MVP of the Sugar Bowl. College football playoff is happening and rolling right along. Now we're down to the Final Four. Final Four, Texas will play Ohio State, Penn State, and Notre Dame. I would say there's no SEC team, but the Texas Longhorns are part of the SEC
But not really,
now.
not really.
They're Big 12-ish.
I'm still taking a little Big 12 credit for that. You can't just, they're not a traditional SEC school, which all of them played terrible.
Yes. So we are set. Let's look at those, Josh, Misty. UT 39-31 over Arizona State. The rest of the games, 41-21, Ohio State over Oregon. Penn State takes care of business Friday night, 31-14 over Boise State. And then Notre Dame beats Georgia 23-10. Just give me a synopsis, and we'll go through each of the games. What you took away from the college football quarterfinal. We're used to Final Fours. They've had Final Four for the last few years in the playoff, but we've got to the Final Four by games, and now the quarterfinals have been done. What are your thoughts on what we saw, and then we'll look at them individually.
It just feels very like March Madness-esque. Like obviously my bracket is completely broke. I did really great the first round and did terribly the second round. I just didn't really see some of this coming. I know we'll go through each game, but the biggest shocker for me was the Oregon-Ohio State game. I just did not see that coming. I had Oregon winning it all and was wrong. And I think a lot of people got that wrong. So I don't feel entirely stupid, but that was probably the biggest shock. Obviously the Texas-Arizona State was a thriller and I loved watching that, but the Oregon-Ohio State really took me by surprise.
I'd say my overall just thought process on that is I'm surprised that only one of the games was even really competitive.
Yes.
And that's all of them leading up to the Final Four.
Yes.
That's not just counting this past weekend. The first four games, again, Texas-Clemson was a relatively close game. The other ones were not. The 10-point Indiana-Notre Dame game wasn't a 10-point game.
Well, no, and when Notre Dame beat Georgia last night, they didn't blow them out, but it was pretty quick in that game that it was like Georgia does not have a chance.
Right.
And Notre Dame didn't run away with it, but Georgia just was never in it. And and obviously, as Misty mentioned, I picked Arizona State to beat Texas because I thought Texas was more limited on offense than maybe they have shown, just because of the schedule that they played, which was not very strong. And I thought that with what Arizona State had with their momentum and things going, that they could do enough on offense, which they did. But Texas offense was up to the task. But that game was it was one of those nail biters that just we were at my house after having lunch at Mulligan's and watching the first half. Went home, got the second half, and we were
on the edge of your seat.
I mean, it was standing up, jumping and screaming. I mean, it was an incredibly just fun football game to watch.
And Cam Scatterboot again wins the offensive MVP, player of the game for the Sugar Bowl. 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, throws for a touchdown, catches big plays, but wasn't enough. The big play there was the targeting call that was not called. Did you think it was targeting?
Yes, I thought that would have changed the entire trajectory of the game, and I think Arizona would have won. I think there was like a minute and 30 left. That would have been given them great field position, better field position. I think they would have won. The officials knew what they were doing and did not want that to happen, and so Texas wins.
That's one of those rules that I don't like it. I've thought that's a hard play for a defender to have to make and avoid targeting in that situation. But by the book, it was targeting, and I read a synopsis of that, but it was Gene Tessitore. He has like a lot of letters, and I don't know how to say it. And it's a new low. I had to rely on Hodge to help me pronounce something. So
this really is a new year.
The weekend is going to start off rough.
New year, new you.
But anyway, that guy like broke it down, through the rule this and this states this and this, and it was by the book targeting, and it did, in my opinion, it swayed the outcome of the game.
Oh, I think it altered it greatly because, as Misty mentioned, it now puts it in a position. You get 15 yards. They're one of their best defenders, even though there's not a lot of time left, is now out of the game. And it also changes if Texas was to win.
He would have been out of the first half.
He would have been out of the first half, like the guy was for Arizona State, that Simmons guy that comes in and makes a huge play from the get-go.
Their momentum, Arizona State's momentum, they were rolling and they were ready to win that football game until that happened.
Yes. And so the other thing about that game, and again, we could talk about that, down the road, Texas, but also it was the best game, was how did the best team with the deepest roster find a way to get it done? Because when I'm watching that game, and I think it wasn't Dempsey, it was somebody else that put it, that if I'm Ewers, it was Corey James. Ewers, you might want to stick around and take the money and go play somewhere else. Don't go to the NFL yet. You're not ready to beat this team, much less anybody in the NFL. Did your view, because if you look at Ewers, 20 of 30, 322 yards, 3 touchdown passes, he had 1 INT. Ewers came in clutch when he needed it.
He did. Which surprised me. I
was leaning toward the end, because I was sitting, and I sent that in our text group. I said, are we about to see a Hurts to a situation where Sark puts in Arch, and does Arch play the second half and see what happens? But they ended up winning it. And so what was your takeaway from Cam? Because I was borderline. We talked about in the pregame during the pre-show stuff this morning. I went from I would not want him on my team to man, that's my favorite guy ever, to he's a terrible teammate, man, great job. Because there was a time he was on his back and he did this and nobody was there to help him up, and then all of a sudden Levitt came over and helped him. What was your takeaway from Cam?
See, there was a lot that you could look and read into that, because I was watching that and thinking, is he such I don't know what words would be appropriate.
And diva's not the right word.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what word would be appropriate. That his own teammates don't like him, and then at one point later in the game, and maybe it was as just thinking through the flow of it, maybe it was because they didn't help him up earlier, but one of his offensive linemen helped him up and he shoved him. So it was like he didn't need his help. So I don't know. That was odd to me because generally you would think that the difference maker on your team, the guy that's like putting it on his back and getting it done, everyone would rally around, and his teammates didn't rally around him. So I was like, is he that difficult to deal with? There's obviously backstory to stuff that we don't know and aren't privy to. But I said before that game, that I did not, he talked about how he was the best running back in the country and all these things that
Nobody
he said.
can stop me.
Yeah, nobody can stop me. All that. He proved that they stopped him for a little bit, but they couldn't stop him for the whole
He
time.
was pretty accurate.
But but if you get down to it, I don't think he's the best running back in the Big 12.
Right.
Much less the entire,
Well, he didn't get
college
invited.
football.
He didn't get invited, and Ashton Tinsley was still the guy. What was your take on Cam?
I kind of was like you, back and forth, but y'all know, it's just like, I like Dion. I like that kind of that arrogance, that swag that you bring into the football game. And when he caught that ball and his helmet came off and he kind of looked at the crowd with that like just snarl on his face, I was here for it. I was like, man, I don't know. I liked it. And he literally, there was a few plays where one of the linemen had like 100 pounds on him. And he just was still on his feet. And I'm like, how is he still going and twisting and turning? I don't know. Incredible to watch. He's a beast. And I'm glad Texas won, but I did kind of feel bad for the guy because he was out there really trying to make anything and everything happen for his team to win. And they almost did. And so kind of felt a little sad for the guy that they did not pull it off because Texas, in my opinion, didn't deserve to win that game.
Yeah, they found a way to do it, and you got to feel bad for the guy that gets beat deep.
And the kicker, oh my gosh,
on the game tying touchdown. You're up 31-24, and then you let Ewers throw another touchdown pass on you to tie the game up. Of course, Auburn had, which I thought was funny. Jesse Palmer called him Austin. It was funny, but so that took place. But I just thought that it was one of those games where you've got to find a way to win. But Dillingham, Coach Dillingham of the Arizona State Sun Devils, total respect for him.
Oh yeah,
he made sure his guys came back to the line and shook the hands of the Texas guys. He goes, that's what you do. You go and you shake. It's part of it. You want to win. And for 34 years old, class act. Now the question for them is going to be, can he continue that? Can Arizona State, did this start a run in the Big 12? Did this start something that they can build off of, or are they going to be ice baby, one hit wonder?
Well, you're right. That is a question that we're going to have to obviously wait and see.
You got to wait
because it's not like they've been an absolute nothing program, but they've never been a program to this level.
Well, they had some sanctions back when, unfortunately, I love Tom Radford.
Yes.
They had some sanctions that evacuate or whatever. What do you call it? Vacate. Evacuate.
The world is coming back right.
Well, but they did. The Lawsons evacuated the building. They left and vacated.
It's 1-1.
Yes. But they did kind of. They were picked to finish last in the Big 12, and they storm and win. The irony is, to me, there's two coaches in there, and I know we'll come back after the break and talk about the other game. To me, next year is really important for Dion and Coach Dillingham. Can Dion coach and recruit? Did all the things work out without my boys here? And can Dillingham continue the rise of Arizona State in the world of not just the Big 12, but this is a big landscape of college football, period?
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see.
Yes, it's.
Would you, okay, and final part about this game. Would you give Cam Scatterboot the offensive MVP even though they lost?
Yeah, that's always so weird. But let's be real. He was so deserving, and so I'm okay with it.
He was the best offensive player in the game, and maybe it's just because that's the way it is. You give it to the team that won. But as I said, when we were talking about this earlier, it's hard to be the most valuable player if your team doesn't win.
Well, we know for a fact he was, because if he wouldn't have been there, if he'd have stayed on the sideline throwing up, it would not have been 39-31. It might have been 39-0.
Honestly, what was your take?
I agree with it. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm still struggling with it. When I come back, Kirby Smart, they're gone. The Fighting Irish, move on. All right, so Josh, let's come back. Bowl season's last breath. Like, do you think bowl season's going to go away? What do you do with all these other teams that are playing?
Go ahead and go to the transfer portal. I think the playoffs are going to extend to the point where there's no need for other bowls. You had a long. You're just have to start them earlier, but
there's always there's an NIT, and you got 68 teams.
Well, there might be.
Did you see that the tickets for the UNT and Texas State were more expensive than the Cowboys game Sunday? No. A lot of staples up here. Wonder what was there? I don't know. It cracks me up on how much
like some sort of little.
rock that up about it.
Okay.
Because they come back, they're the commercial that comes back.
Right.
I mean, they're the ones that come back on this set of commercial breaks.
Yeah, just because it really is that mortgage team that it has that sponsorship. So.
Do you know the number of your head?
The phone number, 692-8660.
8660?
Uh-huh.
Is it Coleman County Bank?
ColemanBank.com.
ColemanBank.com?
Mm-hmm.
Powerful music.
Huh? Oh, could y'all hear that?
Yeah. Because you hear that, that reminded me. One time I was with a friend, we went to their ranch and like 100, is it going back to,
Yeah.
I have to tell you the story.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between Hodge, Misty, and Josh right here on 106.9 The Country Giant, you heard the music coming in. Don't forget to get your Outlaws and Legends tickets. Clint Black, Ella Langley, and tons of others. Be sure you get your tickets. Of course, Mark Powell. And here also in the Mall of Abilene, be on the lookout for the singer-songwriter contest, where that winner will get a chance to be on the lineup for Outlaws and Legends 2025. Outlaws and Legends, you might think of Legends programs, Georgia out, Tennessee out, all the things. The Final Four are set. Texas will take on Ohio State at the Cotton Bowl on Friday, and Penn State, Notre Dame Thursday in the Orange Bowl. Josh, Misty, we talked a lot about the Texas and Arizona State game, which rightfully so was the closest game that we saw. What about, and I guess I was wrong. Andy knows. Andy picked, he thought Oregon would run away with it against Ohio State, but Ohio State, Will Howard, from a guy that made the mistake of thinking I could get down and not let the time run out and beat Oregon the first time, they absolutely boat raced Oregon, and all four teams that got a bye, Arizona State, Boise, Oregon, and Georgia, all going home. Was it right? Was it wrong? And maybe the bye. Do we think it was the bye? Do we think it was the bye?
See, I don't know. On some of those, there's a lot of talk about that, and there's been more stuff. If you go and just peruse the X machine and look at the comments on there about different things, and then listen to what was said a lot going into the playoffs about the wrong teams getting in, and as I've said, and I feel kind of vindicated by it, like Indiana was like, Indiana did not deserve to be there in any way, shape, or form. Having SMU kind of looks like they were in the same boat, even though I thought SMU was better than they were. I don't know if it was the bye, but there is an issue with the seeding, because typically, if you get the bye and you're the top four, you should be one of the top four teams. And I don't think anybody would have had Arizona State and Boise State as a top four team. Oregon, yes, I mean they were number one, but then was Georgia really a top four?
You can't tell now, but I would say yes. But we go back, you hear these shows talking about who would you draft now if you had to draft. Would Jaden Daniels go number one? Which you would. Who would you have put at 3 and 4?
Well, Notre Dame, obviously, I thought they were the second best team going into this. Of course, I thought Oregon was the best. So take what I say with a grain of salt. And Notre Dame has played well in the games that they have had before them. Have really just dominated both of them. So they obviously would have deserved to be on that bye. And then, but the others, it is hard. Penn State has done what they've done and won a couple of games, but I never really thought that they were that good. I thought Ohio State was that good until the last game of the regular season when they lost to Michigan. So then that kind of threw me a curveball. This
is what I would have done. And tell me if you agree with this, Mr. And again, hindsight's always 20/20, but I think I would have done it this way anyway. If Georgia's the number 2 team in the country, and the only 2 losses that University of Texas has is to the number 2 team in the country, this is how I would have done it. I would have gone Oregon number 1, Georgia number 2, Texas number 3, and Notre Dame number 4.
And I would be fine with that.
Yeah, I actually agree with that.
And that would have been your 4 buys, and then you could have put the people that, based on record, would have put in. But you go back to Indiana, and again, I don't know if they'd have had a different mindset, but the people that they talked about that should have been in, that could have talked about it, Alabama lost, South Carolina lost, and I don't know if Ole Miss has played yet. I think they
played last night.
Who was
Well, Miami was the other one,
Yeah,
and
Miami.
they ended up beating Iowa State in fashion. That was one of the good. Again,
You could talk about them, though. I mean,
so, but let's talk about the other games. How good is Penn State right now, or is Boise State being part of the group of the group conferences, not the Power Four, but the group? Ashton Genty not dominating, had a couple of turnovers that didn't help his cause. Is Penn State the most dangerous team right now, or is it Notre Dame?
I think Notre Dame. That would be who I would pick. Obviously, I got the Penn State Boise game completely wrong. I really thought that Boise was gonna not run away with it, but play better than they did. And so if I'm choosing right now based on Georgia, which granted back at quarterback, all the things, but it's still Georgia, I'd still go Notre Dame over Penn.
Is this the best Final Four? We talk about what's the most exciting Super Bowl could be. How exciting or how good do you think this Final Four is?
I'm still just so confused of how this all shook out. But I'm excited for it. I mean, I didn't see it coming. I got 3 out of the 4 games wrong this last week. So I obviously didn't see it coming, but I'm here for it. I like this shakeup. And so even though I was way wrong, I'm here for it.
You talk about a guy that's redeeming himself since the Oregon game, since the Michigan game, is Will Howard. He goes off yesterday for 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. And that game that I thought might have been the best of them was never a game.
Oh, no, it was, like you said earlier, just a boat race from the beginning. That caught me off guard, just completely. And I think that Texas OSU game, that looks like a good ball game. And, I'm definitely going to watch both of them because Notre Dame is playing well. I picked them to make it to the championship. So that's my only shot I have left at scoring any more points in this little debacle. But so we'll see how Penn State comes to that because if you look at and this is a fact, Penn State has had the easiest route to get to where they're at.
No, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, because Notre Dame's Indiana game was probably, as you mentioned, would agree with, is it was an easy game, but they had to go.
But they had to go Georgia.
They had to beat Georgia, who still had a good defense, and I want to talk about that quarterback situation in a moment. But Texas really hadn't played anybody. Their two losses were against their best teams. The Michigan win early in the year, was that a great win? Probably not.
Well, it propelled them to be thought of as a very top team because Michigan, and this is why we've always talked about the ranking system and what's broke about it. Michigan was ranked high. Texas was ranked high. They played each other. Texas beat them. That propels Texas to be even higher ranked. And then, they didn't play anybody else of really much substance except for Georgia, who beat them twice.
Yeah, and then you look at, I do think we can talk about this in a moment of which of these two games. I think it's going to be a great Final Four. I've got Texas and Notre Dame in the finals, in the championship, with Notre Dame winning.
You think if Ohio State plays how they played against Oregon, that Texas can beat them?
Well, I mean, that's what I've got picked. When I fill out my bracket.
What do you think?
I think Texas has and I know they didn't look very good in the second half against Arizona State, but Texas has a pretty good defense.
They do, but that is a tall order if Ohio
and that
State
Jeremiah
what
Smith, I'm going to tell you about a factory of wide receivers. That's Ohio State. You think about the people that have come out of there receiver-wise, just Marvin Harrison Jr. There's so many good ones. I do think that Texas can win that. It's going to be a huge UT crowd being in Texas.
Yeah, that'll help for sure.
But yeah, I do think that'll be a good one. 2 guys that Carson Beck hurt enters the draft after, I don't think, a great season.
No, not.
Quinn Ewers questions, will he enter the draft? But there's been rumors of him taking a big NIL deal at Oregon or USC. I just think it's wild about we're talking about that. The guy's playing in the semifinals of the National Football Playoff, college football playoff, and being talked about possibly going to play somewhere else. I think it's going to be great. I can't wait. I blocked off Friday to officiate basketball. I ain't doing anything but watching football. Just going to let you know, Texas playing Ohio State. Josh, you have in the rundown both seasons' last breath. Do you feel like the Bulls should or will go away?
Well, I think they should, and I think that I do believe that there's not enough SEC teams in this college football playoff, and they weren't well represented in the winning so far. So they're going to have to change things to make sure SEC teams make it into the playoffs.
Okay, I heard this. All right, so do you think the bowls should go away, or do you think they
Yes.
will?
I'm not a fan of all
And
those
I'm
I
I'm
dis-
sorry.
I disagree.
There's a lot of
There's
bowls.
too many.
There's a
too
lot of
many.
but the thing is, and I think that, like I said, I was obviously being facetious about the SEC and the because they flopped completely. Other than Ole Miss did destroy Duke last night, but I mean that's Duke. I don't see that as like a big deal. But all those SEC teams, South Carolina and Alabama specifically, who everyone talked about were like just on the cusp of making it. A&M, who was one game away from making it to the SEC championship, gets beat by a very subpar USC team. I guess Baylor did lose to LSU, but that Baylor was also playing the referee, so that made it very difficult. The all that stuff to be said about all those teams that they thought should have been in the championship or the CFP, but then they weren't, and all of that. It really, I don't know. We talked about this going into the football championship that I did not think there were 12 teams that even deserved to be thought of as in that category, and all these next level schools that everyone was saying, oh, they should have been in instead of them, and all of that. I think most of them proved that they should not have been there, but the bowls themselves are almost a joke.
Well, I mean,
That's my thing. Like, they're not entertaining
but
for
there's
the most
two.
part.
I mean, I guess you could start the portal early. You could start these people leaving early, but you've got way too many teams with something to do with them. And so I don't have a problem with the bowl games. I've had a hard time sitting down. There are a lot of them. If you're going to watch them, it's hard to catch all of them. I was wrong about Colorado should have been playing Alabama. Alabama couldn't beat Michigan, and BYU boat raced Colorado, so I was wrong on that.
But if you really get down to it, you talk about making plans to watch bowl games. If it's not like your team, a team that you kind of follow,
Right.
or one of these CFP games, which ones have, even just on paper, you look at the matchup, which ones have you thought, man, that's going to be a good game? Even though USC beat A&M, when I looked at it, I thought, well, that's not going to be any good. I thought A&M would win.
The ones that I thought would be good, I thought the BYU Colorado game would be good. BYU killed them.
I was looking forward to watching
the Miami Iowa State game was probably one of the best, and Cam Ward didn't even play in the second half, and Iowa State ends up winning that game. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I want to make this. We're going to come back and do Misty's bag, but you got two Big Ten teams in the college football Final Four. I heard this on the way in on Unsportsmanlike this morning, and they threw out this question. We're going to go to break, and we don't have to answer, but I want you to think about it, and we can talk about it in the second hour. Who wins more national championships in the next 5 to 10 years? Big Ten or SEC? When we come back, we'll open up Misty's bag.
We didn't talk about the bowl thing enough because I got sidetracked. But
about what?
Bowls. But I do think they're going to change.
That's what we just talked about.
Well, I know we didn't talk it as in depth as I think we could have. But I do think they're going to revamp this.
They have to.
In 2026, you'll have 16 teams.
Yeah,
Right.
it's going to expand, and the seating, was just so wrong.
But the thing with the bowls and why I think they're going away is have y'all seen the commercials during the bowl games about like bowl season? It means something.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to push. Like I don't even know who is.
Yeah.
Who,
But I do
what?
think it means something for those kids.
Well, you say that, but they all opt out.
I was going to say, yeah.
God.
Some of them, yeah. I don't know. I think there's just too many, and they're irrelevant, and they're not entertaining. Like you said, unless it's your team, you don't even care.
You don't even care.
But can we talk about how sad football's coming to an end? Like, it's like, oh, it's about to be that time. I'm like, dang it. Oh.
Football ending is a rough time.
It is. It's
Regular
sad.
season college football, Thanksgiving
No.
weekend, when it ends.
In the next month, it's just terrible. Like, what are we gonna do? We're actually gonna have to talk to each other on the weekends now.
This year has been easier because the Cowboys sucked so bad.
Yeah, I know. First year that I really haven't cared at all. Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, a couple games in, I was like, all right, don't even need to waste my time with this anymore. Did you see that poor girl that was announcing the Pop-Tart bowl? I don't know if you saw it. It was like, I don't even remember how she said it. Bless her heart. It's like, baby, you had one job. And she totally butchered. I'd have to look it up, but I thought, oh gosh, that would probably be something I would do. Like, it's Pop-Tart. It's not a hard phrase, not anything. And she was like, port or something. I don't even know what she said.
I understand getting tongue tied and saying things.
Oh, me too, especially in that big crowd. But I'm like, oh gosh, I would have died.
One of the things that I did want to talk about that we didn't mention is the unfortunate of what happened on Wednesday.
Yes.
I'm curious how much of a ticket it is.
Stay alert.
Huh?
Stay alert.
Mm-hmm.
Be a lion, not a lamb.
What, are you reading something?
No. I think there's more violence that's going to keep happening.
Oh, it is.
Hey, on Sunday, January 19th, at Kroger, North Richland Hills, Evan Carter and Hobie Minor are going to be at.
Evan Carter.
That was the only one I thought you could go to because it was not during the day.
Yeah, a lot of times they're like at 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday or something.
Mm-hmm.
They used to come to Abilene every year, but they haven't the past few.
They came last year. Either last year. Yeah, it was after the World Series.
Oh yeah, because they brought the World Series trophy.
Corey Bradford was with them.
Yeah. Cody.
Huh?
Cody, right? Yeah. Yeah. Who? No. Yeah.
I slept weird or something. Like my body is sore for no reason. I'm getting old. This is the year I turn old.
This is the year, huh?
Terrible.
Do you turn 40 in March?
Mm-hmm. See, he already knew. Because I'm getting old.
I turn 47 in a couple weeks, so I don't want to hear it. Oh, so bad.
Do guys care about getting older? Like, does it ever just honestly bother you? I mean,
Morning, Kyle McVeigh on Bungalingus or whatever the soccer Bungalingus. Happy New Year.
The number doesn't matter. The way I feel matters.
Okay. The number and how I feel matters. Swag. It's my favorite. Swag.
I want to get him a hat or something that just says swag.
Swag. We need like that.
SW with the SH after.
Yeah.
Swag.
It sounds like what Austin Powers used to say, but something different.
It needs to be like SCHW.
Yes.
Swag.
Like,
SCHWAG.
like Schwab, but yeah.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack as we keep rolling through hour number one. Lots to talk about. The college football playoffs is set. We got tons going on. We appreciate everybody watching on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Robert Cheek, Kyle McVeigh. Hope everybody has a great new year. Clay Collier. The man that's doing really well in our pick'em is Clay. Let's see if he responds or is he at work. Is that him doing or Misty's doing? Well, based on Misty's bracket, it is.
It's all Clay, I can say. I had nothing to do with it.
But again, we appreciate everybody joining us this morning. Hoping everybody's having a great year. And it's time for our first 2025 version of Misty's Bag.
Sponsored by Mulligan's, and shout out to them. Great New Year's Eve party. I was there. My family was there. So much fun. Karaoke. There may or may not have been some karaoke happening by the Colliers.
There's no doubt that Humpty Dance was sang.
Yes, Clay completely crushed the Humpty Dance. That is his signature go-to. And if you've never witnessed it, man, I'm sorry, because it is something.
I'm sure it's
to see.
YouTubeable.
Yeah, it's great. But we had a great time. Mulligan's, just service was great, food was great, everything was great. And so wanted to mention, I don't know if y'all saw, this is kind of a recent development with Mulligan's, but they're doing their BOGO wings on Wednesdays now.
Ooh.
Buy one, get one. So if you're a fan of the wings, get on out to 1166 Ben Ritchie Drive. And of course, Mondays they're doing, Gendo, Tuesdays normally karaoke, all the things. And a lot of times check their Facebook before you head out to Mulligan's, because a lot of times they'll post their specials for the day. So whenever there's college football, a lot of times they'll do $2 domestic pints if you wear your swag, as Kyle says.
Yes.
So bring your, show up in your game day swag and get those specials. But definitely check their Facebook page, Mulligan's Sports Bar, Grill, and Golf for those. All right. So first one of the year, new year, new rules. What's one rule in your favorite sport that you think needs to be changed immediately for 2025? I know there's probably many, but you've got to narrow it down.
Well, one, I'm not a fan of if you fumble. I was going to say the fumbling out of the end zone and all that stuff. I'm not a big fan of. So if I had to change something, I think there's a period, I guess it was a couple of football seasons ago, where you could challenge a pass interference call. I'm not a fan of that, but I think if there is an obvious hand to the face on the quarterback or an obvious face mask or something like that, I would like to see that be challenged.
Okay.
I know there's some human element that we don't want to take out of games, and baseball is the best at not getting things right even after. Great call, Robert Cheek. That's why we love people listening. The NFL kickoff has got to go back to normal, because the fact that you have to say, hey, Josh, we're going to onside it. Just going to go ahead and get your hands.
The non-onside kick is
so stupid. I mean, there's so many, but yes, that is one.
I'm taking Robert's back. Forget that other. I'm agreeing with Robert Cheek. Yes, the onside kick has got to be back in the game. The unsuspected, don't know it's coming onside kick's got to happen.
The declared onside kick is the dumbest thing I have ever heard about. Because as far as like changing the way you play the game, it takes that whole, what's his name, coach for the Broncos, has famously done that a few times. Just the surprise onside.
Sean Payton's the World Series world champion.
He won the World Series too. It's crazy. I didn't know.
He was such a good coach.
Yeah. Because yes, that surprise onside kick is part of the game, and you've eliminated that. That one is probably the most egregious of the recent rule changes, in my opinion. But the first one that pops to mind for me, that mainly it's just because I missed the term, but I want Major League Baseball to bring back the loogie. Do y'all know what a loogie is?
A spitball?
No.
Yeah, I was like,
no. It's left-handed, one-out guy. Loog. E. They changed that rule a few years ago. You have to do the 3-batter minimum, which eliminated a whole genre of pitcher, and that is like that left-handed reliever that you really had one job, and that's come in and face the other team's best left-handed hitter late in the game, and you didn't have to worry about getting right-handed hitters out. Like that was like, you could just come out and face that lefty, and that'd be it. But the 3-batter minimum, just in general, is something that I don't like, because that also changes the way you manage a baseball game. Not as much as not having having to declare an onside kick, but when you watch a game and a pitcher goes out there and is off the rails, but he has to stay out there for 3 batters because you brought him in. And as a manager, you don't know that you're going to bring out a guy that just doesn't have it today and can't get anybody out.
Well, deep down, sir, there's a reason we called you a loogie. We only needed you for one
out. Yeah. And, but if you get a guy out there that that just lost all control, is like, got the yips, whatever,
You're forced to walk
and
the guy.
and he has to stay out there for 3 batters, it changes the way that you have to manage the game. And of all the speed up the game things, that one is the one that bothers me the most. And I know that sometimes, especially in the playoffs back in the day before the 3-batter, when it would go like, okay, Big Poppy's coming up, we're bringing in the lefty, and then like whatever happens to that at bat happens, and Manny Ramirez is after him, so we're going to bring the righty back in. So we're going back to commercial break to then, just
To me,
the way that all that goes.
It's still more advertising.
It does sell more advertising, but it bothers me.
All right, we're gonna do station identification. I'm gonna tell you I got another one. We are the Country Giant. Hour number 2 brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. Be sure, new year, new house. Call Coleman County State Bank 325-692-8660 or go to colemanbank.com for all your mortgage needs. Go find that new house that you've been looking for. Or maybe you want one for a rental property. You go buy houses. You do you. Go through colemanbank.com. My one of the rules I'd like to change is in golf, if your ball lands in a divot in the fairway, you have to hit it out of the divot. You should not be punished for hitting a good shot in the fairway and have to hit it out of the divot. You should be able to pick it up, place it out of the divot, fix that divot that didn't get fixed, and hit the ball. That's my one. Sorry.
No, that's good. I mean, I have several, but I think for me, I would like college and NFL to have the same overtime rules. I hate the overtime, the difference.
So which would you want? Would you want college to take on the NFL or NFL to take on college?
I like college, so I would say that goes into the NFL. So I would like that to match college. And I would like the kickoff to go back to, I don't like the dynamic kickoff. So I know there's some people do. I don't. I'd like to go back to before we had the new dynamic kickoff.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
I'm
of
not a
kickoff.
fan of it.
Josh, your thoughts on that before we head the break on the overtime?
And the 2 feet, it's like, I just wish they were all the same. Football is football.
So do you wish they would go to NFL to college or college to NFL?
I'm fine with it the way it is. It kind of just makes it, I mean, I understand that the overtime, and they try to make it better in the NFL, so it wasn't just like win the toss, go kick a field goal and win the game, but I'm not sure that I would like the college rules there. I know the whole point is you played a lot of football already. We don't want to get stuck out here forever. And college keeps making it harder to go longer in overtimes because they keep making it, well, you can't kick extra points and it's just go for 2 and,
why not just go ahead and, if you're going to do it, why not just go ahead and make it penalty kicks and just start with 2-point conversions?
Right. I mean, that would be the ultimate, just like, but make it fast.
On the NFL, I don't mind the way that they do it now, but I would wish they would both get a possession regardless.
I like the possession.
And you could say, well, you had a chance to play defense and don't let them score a touchdown. You can go win with a field goal. I would like to see them both get an offensive possession.
Yeah, and that's the same. And then
regardless,
I wish the clock stopped on first downs in all. Like, I like that. It makes it just, you have that little bit of extra ability to have some pizzazz at the end of the game, by having to stop the clock to set the ball. In the NFL, not doing that just makes it where, especially, if you pick up 30 yards and you got to get up there and get set, a lot of times running off the clock, and that makes it just a little bit less interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see that. I'd love to see the clock stop in the NFL on first downs. Get the change set. Don't start rolling it too soon, because let's face it, we like the drama of the Arizona State Texas game.
Oh yeah, the down to the wire trying to move the ball.
Yes.
We want to see that same drama in a Kansas City Buffalo Bills game where, obviously Kansas City won with the 13 seconds, but I would like to see that.
Thoughts on 2 feet down versus 1 foot down? Do you like the difference? Do you want it to be the same? What thoughts on that?
I like the separation because the NFL should be harder.
Yeah, you should be a
The
better football
the
player.
NFL should be harder. I like now, and then we'll go to break. But I thought I heard somebody say this: if you go and you catch and your right foot hits, and then somehow you're able to touch your right foot twice, should that be 2 feet?
Boing, boing.
Because you
You
can't
can
get
jump
your
on
left foot.
one foot, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Probably good.
Well, we're going to tigger into and jump right into hour number 2. Continuing that when we come back. The Cowboys, well, they got a game.
Surely they're gonna get rid of the onside kick crap.
I don't
I
But
mean-
you got to get rid of the dynamic kicker.
Well,
There's
that's
there's
what
no-
I'm saying. Surely they'll get rid of those. What, do you don't like the dynamic kickoff?
No.
I mean, I've
I
heard
would
some people
like
that
it.
do, so.
I would like
do
it.
not.
I would like it if the onside kick, this is funny, it just came to me. Like if the onside kick had to go like 25 yards and you had
Everyone
to,
is
you had, no,
posted up.
You gotta defend them. You gotta defend them. No, you can't get it. You can't get it. You had to put the kickers team on that
That
side.
could be your new rule for 2025, the crazy rule. That would be highly entertaining.
It'd be like that blockout drill I used to do when I was coaching.
Yeah.
You have the ball in the middle, player here, you call out a number, and then you'd have to block them out until I blew the whistle. Yeah, onside kick. It's gotta go 25 yards. It's gotta be your
And
ball.
you've got to block them out and switch sides.
It's gotta be your ball.
But if you're switching sides, you're still calling it before you kick it.
Yeah, so stupid.
Because that's the thing on that rule now, the ball has to land like within the 25-yard line, so there's no way to like short kick or swift kick, like.
I think they should change it, and you should have to onside kick it every time. I heard this also. Will Mike McCarthy be fired by the Cowboys or fire the Cowboys?
I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. I would not be surprised. Well, if I remember correctly, when Jason Garrett left, didn't they like stretch it out for weeks and weeks after the end of the season? Like allow all
He did
the
what he
other,
did with the Dak. He basically did the same thing.
allow all the other teams to, fire their coach and hire a new one, and then you're like, all right, yeah, we're gonna go a different way.
I really want to be in sweatpants right now, like Jamie pants, sweatshirt on my couch or in bed. I'm so tired today. I didn't sleep good. I was thinking about all this craziness in the world, and I could not sleep.
It took me a long time to go to sleep last night. Like I laid down at like 9:45 and was like, just, I don't know, it seemed like a long time.
Yeah.
I went to sleep
Same.
and was fine, like I didn't wake up. It was just like,
Took a while to.
did you ever do this? I do this sometimes where it's like, I'm like just about to doze off. And then for some reason, like my subconscious like makes me wake up.
Like a
I'm
second
I can
wind?
feel it like,
Yeah.
like just.
Yeah.
Like I just twitch for some reason,
If
just
I
like.
don't, I have a window, and if I don't go to bed in that, whatever that window is, when I start to kind of feel myself get
Your window's
relaxed,
not the same.
nope, then I will be up till 1 a.m. Like, it's like
Yeah.
I'm either in bed by 9 or it's like midnight or 1.
I am very much like that.
I hate it.
If I lay down to go to sleep, the first one, like I'm kind of getting, I fall asleep well. If I wait a little bit,
Yep, I'm like, I miss my window.
I need to bring some toothpicks up in this place, because I always end up needing one and like bothered the entire time. Throws me off. Hodge, what are you dancing about?
It is time for hour number two, again brought to you by Coleman County State Bank, 325-692-8660, or colemanbank.com for your mortgage needs. And again, it is hour number two, and we look into, Misty mentioned it a while ago during the break about how we're getting close. Each weekend becomes the fuse, if you will, of college and football period starts fusing away. Now you got the XFL or UFL or whatever it's called. They're promoting spring football starting March. But it is coming to an end, and we are part of the Dallas Cowboy Radio Network. It's been a tough year being part of the Dallas Cowboy Radio Network. Lots of downs with a couple of ups and crashes, downs, and all the things. But this Sunday you can catch Brad, Babe, and Christy 12 o'clock as they take on the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are already in the playoffs along with the Eagles, but the Cowboys looking to finish to get that 8th win on the card. And then we will find out on Monday or on Tuesday, or as Josh mentioned, maybe sometime in June, whether or not Mike McCarthy will be back. Misty, I was telling Josh this as I was coming in today. I heard this on the radio. Will take it or trash it, and I guess it's not a take it or trash it because you got to answer it. Dallas will fire Mike McCarthy, or Mike McCarthy will fire Dallas?
I
It's really
don't.
not a take it or trash it. You can just answer it that way.
I think he's gonna just ride that train. I don't see them firing him.
Whoa, you think Mike stays?
I don't want it, but as long as Jerry's pulling the strings, I mean, we need a total rebuild in Dallas. But
When you say total rebuild, what do you mean?
well, I mean, I guess not total, but we definitely have some missing links, and I do think that the coach is one of them. But Dallas history repeats itself, then Mike McCarthy will be there because they'll go, oh, well, let's look at the last few years and all of the games. Yeah, we get it. You've won some games, but it doesn't matter until you get to the playoffs. And that's just my opinion. So I don't like him. I want him to go. I want something fresh in Dallas. I don't see that it will happen if Jerry's still pulling the strings.
So McCarthy's the coach in 2025. Is
I
your
would not
prediction?
be surprised. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he will be.
Josh?
I can't really lodge a sound argument against what Misty just said, even though I do not want him back. That always goes to the, well, who else would you have scenario, which, I obviously don't have stacks of resumes of all the possible available coaches, so it'd be hard for me to just answer that question. But, I'm also not a fan, and it rarely works out, of go find the hottest, OC, DC at this team.
Which is Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, that Ben Johnson is that guy that everyone talks about. I think you have a 1 in 10 chance that whoever hires Ben Johnson, it works out. I think offensive coordinators, especially offensive coordinators, do not translate into head football coaches well often, especially at first. Defensive coordinators, I think, have a better opportunity at it for whatever reason. I'm not sure. But so I'm not a fan of just like go get the soup du jour, but that being said, there's plenty of excuse with the injuries that the Dallas Cowboys had this year. Their defense has been really hurt by injuries. Obviously, Cooper Rush is not a starting caliber NFL quarterback, and they've had to deal with that. And then the self-imposed injuries of just putting together a pretty garbage roster as far as the depth on the offensive line, the depth at running back, even though Rico ended up being a serviceable back, there wasn't enough depth there. And, so you can make a lot of excuses for McCarthy to justify bringing him back. And the history with what we've seen with Jerry Jones leads me to believe he will not make a hasty decision. And, as we talked about during the break, Hodge, when they did finally let Jason Garrett go about, 5 years too late, they didn't do it until all the windows were opening and closing at every other NFL, coaching carousel, and then they decided to do something different. So
I hope they don't wait, and I hope if they move on, and like I said, Mike McCarthy may want to go coach somewhere else.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, Dallas is a tough place to play, coach, be on staff because of who's pulling the strings. So I'll give it to, it's got to be a certain personality that can jive with Jerry Jones. But I just, again, when you're America's team, you've got to do something in the playoffs.
You say that it's a tough place, and I mean, I don't disagree that there's a whole lot of pressure there, and you're dealing really with the whims of one person, as far as what goes on and things like that. But I read stories all the time about secondary level people, not the the coaches that are out there, as far as like the head coach of DC and stuff like that, but organizational talent that they have. There's people that have been there since the 80s and 90s, that work with Jerry Jones on a regular basis. So there's something there, as far as that goes. Maybe not on the football side, but I mean, Hodge, you understand what I'm saying? As far as just like
as far as issues are.
Well, no, as far as just like you say that Jerry Jones is hard to work with, but I read a story this week because of the thing that we had mentioned, or I had mentioned earlier. I don't think I talked about it on the air, but these organized crime gangs that are targeting athletes and not just athletes, but rich people. They know their schedule. They're robbing their house when they're gone. There was an article I read this week about that, and it quoted the Dallas Cowboys head of security. He was a former FBI agent. He's worked for Jerry Jones since 1985.
Well, maybe it's just the head coach.
So I'm saying, like, you say Jerry Jones is hard to deal with, but like this guy's been Jerry Jones's right-hand man for 40 years.
But is there like 2 or 3 people in between Jerry and
I
guy?
don't know.
Yeah,
Just
the organizational chart would think that there would be.
And we've talked about, and I can't place his name right now, but the guy that helps with their talent.
I was trying to look it up, like Will McClay.
McClay. That guy's been with them forever, and not.
And it stayed put. It was probably could have gone to be a GM at other organizations. Right. But again, I'm sure Jerry takes very good care.
I'm sure he does, but he has to deal with Jerry all the time. Like
it just seems to be very hit or miss.
Well, and do want to mention this. We mentioned earlier in the Lawrence Hall headline report, Mahomes did not make the Pro Bowl. We got 5 Cowboys that did. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Tyler Smith, Brandon Aubrey, and Kavontae Turpin all making the Pro Bowl, which used to mean you got a trip to Hawaii. Now it's you go to Orlando and hang out, and if you don't want to go, you just take your bonus and then let somebody else go for you and be a part of the skills. Maybe they can see if they ought to pay capture the flag and see if anybody can catch Turpin.
Turpin is a true talent.
Yeah,
really is.
So anyway, you can get your Cowboys this week. We'll figure it out. Okay, just real quick. You said he stays.
I say he's going to stay.
Yeah, I think he does too. And I think if he leaves, it's going to be his choice. If he leaves, he says, you know what? I'll go coach Caleb Williams. Y'all want me to come to Chicago? I don't know. It'll be interesting to go. This weekend is a great weekend of NFL football. Not a full slate of games, but games that matter. Detroit, Minnesota, Detroit for the number 1 seed. Sunday Night Football, big game. Joe Burrow still has a bit of a chance to make the playoffs. Big game there. And, of course, the NFC North still up for grabs on who wins that division. I'm kind of excited about that. How will you handle the NFL postseason with no Cowboys? Who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for Detroit Buffalo Super Bowl? And do you think it happens?
I would love that, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I would love that Super Bowl because those are 2 teams that I've been on for the last few years. But I don't think that it will happen.
How will you handle the postseason? You've done it forever with the Rangers. Fortunately, 2 years ago, they won a World Series. How will you handle this postseason football in the NFL?
I'm going to stick to the Abe principle.
Abe?
Abe.
Like Abe Lincoln?
Like Abe Lincoln.
Okay.
Anybody but the Eagles.
Yes.
Right. That's actually a T-shirt that says that.
Actually, that's really-
So during baseball, it was ABBA,
Yes.
anybody
yes.
but Astros.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
would you like some Velcro?
Yeah,
You
I
can
would
just
change it out.
the EMA.
You know, it used to be the Angels, but then they stink now.
They do it on their own.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's really like what will make my postseason be. I guess the consolation prize for the Cowboys being terrible is just don't let the Eagles win a Super Bowl.
Okay, we got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to take advantage of some take it or trash it. Take it or trash it. Sam Darnold and the Vikings should sign him to a multi-year deal right now. Take it or trash it.
I'm going to trash it because they've drafted a quarterback, right?
J.J. McCarthy
Yeah.
from Michigan.
Yeah.
Some more time.
But the thing is like
You keep waiting for it to drive by and that pumpkin to pop up.
I've been
too.
waiting for this like the glass slipper to fall off since about week 3, and it keeps not happening. And so maybe he should sign to a long-term deal, but I don't know. I do think that Minnesota, for whatever reason, is a place that they have the stuff there on the, they have a good offensive line. They have Justin Jefferson. Their running back
Darnold.
their running back situation, is more fluid, but they got Aaron Jones in there and has done a good job. So they have weapons that allow a quarterback to be good, and maybe I don't know. No, trash it. Let him go. You got another guy that's cheaper. Don't pay him a ton of money. You'll end up regretting it.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've got one. Take it or trash it. The Chiefs do not make it to the Super Bowl this year.
I'm going to trash it. They will make it. Hurry, I need you to answer because I'm going to piggyback.
I think they will. I want that Bills Chiefs matchup so bad.
Take it or trash it. The NFL does not need the Chiefs to repeat.
Oh, they don't need it.
No, I mean, yeah, no, not at all.
I think that
I would trash it and say they would love to have the face of their franchise and the organization that may be trying to over the top, if you will, the old 80s movie.
I'm going to say the Chiefs don't make it.
Oh, really?
I'm going to say the Chiefs
You
don't
think
make
the
Super
NFL
Bowl.
it's like
No.
they
I think they would love to see a three-peat happen. The record that's never taken place happen. We're going to come back and you can debate that or not. And what do you want to have for 2025 besides Mike McCarthy being Misty's best friend?
I am nervous though about this Vikings Lion game. I'm like, I've been with you. We've been on this whole the Vikings.
I almost
are
want
going,
a watch party for this game.
I do too, because I'm so irritated that you and I are wrong. That
I know.
we have,
All year I've been like, they're not that
I know,
good.
and every week we're like, the wheels are gonna fall off. This is the week. This is the week, and then dang it,
And then Darnold says, take
I know. Yeah,
He's personally offended.
he's trashing us. So I'm like, oh. And the Lions, oh my gosh, who did they just play? Oh my gosh.
Green Bay.
Yeah. And I was like, hello, like what's happening here with Green Bay? And so that kind of made me a little bit nervous. Not to discount Green Bay, but I just, I have Detroit high on the list.
We'll see, but Green Bay's, finished last year strong, whooped the Cowboys in the playoffs, played the 49ers very well. A lot of people had them on the up and coming going into this year.
I don't know. The Vikings have just really surprised me that the wheels didn't fall off, at least by like week 5 or 6.
Well, in that London game, I thought the wheels had fallen off. They looked terrible.
For who?
For
The Vikings.
And then they freaking keep coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what greatness does.
Ugh.
Greatness.
I hope the Lions just beat the crap out of them. But I'm scared that
But
that's
the
not
Lions-
going to happen.
The Lions have lost.
And they're hurting. Yeah.
Oh,
So
they've got.
Elevated home shopping.
Well, I pushed a button.
They're having to introduce somebody every week. Hey, how you doing? I'm the newest team, the newest member
and
of the
that's
line.
what is my concern. want the Bills to keep winning.
And I think that would be my question. There was a period where everybody didn't like, or they got to the point where they didn't like Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Because of Mahomes being from Texas and the Tech connection, are people giving him more of a grace, or are there more people ready for somebody else to win one besides?
I don't know that we're there yet. I mean, Brady, you're talking, there's a lot more that he did.
Well,
I don't know.
the Vikings played the Jets and beat them 23-17 in London and looked like garbage doing it. And that's when I was like,
And who did they play the next week?
the Lions, and got beat
And what was that score?
31-29. So it was close.
See, I was going to say, but that one was.
And then they lost to the Rams the week after that. So it was 3 games in a row that was like, the Jets are terrible.
Yeah, they're
and
so bad.
and the Vikings struggled against them and then lost 2 games. And I was like, all right, this is done. And then it was just like,
Is
nope.
Aaron going to hang it up? That's the question.
because then you go back, the next game after
I
that, they beat the Jaguars 12-7.
I don't either. He shouldn't.
If Aaron Rodgers comes back, I don't think it's.
What do you think about Rodgers?
He better just go away, but he will try his best to not.
He did say that he will not need a darkness retreat for this decision.
What if he wants to come to the Cowboys?
That ain't happening. We got a quarterback we're paying $60 million.
Well, I know, but I just don't know why we didn't utilize Lance more.
Why he didn't get some sort of shot
I just don't
is
understand.
beyond me.
I don't
As
understand that at all.
soon as Dak got hurt, and as soon as
He'd go in for like 1 or 2 reps.
as soon as any playoff situation was over, Trey should have played.
Yeah, I just don't. What's the logic there? Is there any logic to that?
Here's the deal: you traded for him.
Well, I know. I just don't understand that logic at all.
You traded for him, but not even use him when the time came that you would have
Like how
used him.
frustrating for
You
a
didn't even
trade.
use him like Texas does Arch. Put the athletic guy in.
Ever so often, have some packages.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be ticked if I was him. I mean, he's just sitting there on the sidelines.
Bringing the action to you, Hodge, Misty, and Josh here on 106.9 The Country Giant. Also, don't forget to download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. If you missed any part of the show or some of the shows that you missed back in the day, you want to go back and listen, make sure you download, subscribe, rate, and review. And, of course, always catch the great music right here on 106.9 The Country Giant with Jones, JB, Greg, and, of course, High Lonesome on the weekends. 2025 is here, and it's time. Our Black Plumbing social media question of the week is some bold predictions for 2025. As we roll into them, one of those boldness picks that are taking place, the boldness that is happening, is the college football playoff, and it is set. Texas will be taking on Ohio State. Penn State will be taking on Notre Dame. And you look, I mean, Josh, Misty, those are 4 powerhouse blue chip schools, if you will, when it comes to football. So we will be set for some great football next weekend. Some bold predictions we've got coming up. What are some bold predictions that you have, maybe even prayers, hopes, and dreams for 2025 when it comes to sports? Misty, do you have any?
Yeah, a few. I would like to see Caitlin Clark make it to the finals.
Okay.
I think that would be neat if she could take the team to all the way. So I would like to see that for her. I think that would be cool for just being in year 2. I always like, we've talked about this before, I always like when at least there's one good Cinderella story in March Madness. Not necessarily winning it all, but, maybe making it to the Final Four. It gives us a little bit of an underdog to root for. And then, obviously, we just talked about it. I want a refresh for the Dallas Cowboys because this is the first year in many, many years that I could care less about the Dallas Cowboys, sadly.
So you got Caitlin Clark making it to the WNBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
She did that as a college player, made it to the NCAA Finals, losing to South Carolina last year. I think it's going to be interesting to see what does year 2 look like for the Fever. What does year 2 look like for Caitlin Clark, and what does the year look like, year number 2, for that draft class as a whole Will the WNBA continue to soar up? They signed the TV deal. That will be interesting to see what takes place with Caitlin Clark and the WNBA as a whole as 2025 rolls on. Josh, your thoughts on 2025?
Well, I do agree with Misty on wanting to see some adjustments with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't want to go into, and I don't know how this is not going to happen. I don't want to go into the 2025 Cowboys season with just the
a worse roster or the same roster?
Right. Well, and just with the no hope for any, because going into this year after the playoff loss last year left a bad taste in your mouth. Like as the offseason was moving along, you were still excited. You still thought, all right,
we're going to fix this.
It's going to get better.
We're all in. Remember?
Yeah, the all-in comment really did backfire because then nothing was done, and waited too long to sign people, which costs money, which limits roster flexibility, and things just didn't go well. I think that the glaring needs that we saw at the beginning of the year were still just never addressed. The run defense was not improved, the running back situation did not clarify, and there wasn't enough depth on the offensive line. They're still badly in need of a solid number 2 receiver. Tolbert has had some moments that he looks like he might take that step. It's Gallup 2.0, where it's like at times you're like, all right, this is going in the right, and then it's like just disappears. So
the inconsistencies in Dallas are what drives me crazy.
So a Cowboys offseason that makes me think I'm excited for a chance at a playoff run would be big on my list. And then obviously I want the Rangers to be back in contention. If it's just wishes and all of that, I'd wish they'd win another World Series. But in a more specific drill down a little bit, I want to watch Wyatt Langford play baseball at the level that he was playing at the end of last year. And I would love for Evan Carter to do what he did at the end of 2023 in that very short little spark. And if those two guys are playing like they showed they were capable of together at the same time, the Rangers are going to be a fun team to watch. So that's
I've got Rangers bounce back as one of my predictions and hopes or whatever, is that they bounce back. That's kind of what Bochy does. Hey, well, we win one, I'm going to hang out, and I'm going to win the next one. So I've got them bouncing back. I agree with the Cowboys situation. I've got no Aaron Rodgers in 2025. He will just now be a constant, maybe everyday guy on the Pat McAfee show, not just Tuesday. Do you have any other bold predictions or any thoughts on 2025?
Oh, well, I mean, like we kind of talked about earlier, the other thing I think about is I think there's going to be some drastic differences in bowl season that maybe won't just take all the way place in 2025, but I think you're going to start seeing a move because, as we mentioned earlier, those bowl games, a lot of them just like, what? And with the way that the transfer portal and the NIL money have changed college football, having bowl games with teams that aren't even the same team that played the regular season seems kind of silly to me.
No, I totally agree.
And I think that there's going to have to be something that changes that makes that less silly. Whether it's if you tie your NIL money to, if you're giving, well, first of all, just make the NIL money more of a contractual obligation and less of just making it rain, I guess. I don't know what goes into all of that, but I'm feeling, if I'm handing out that money in whatever way that you're doing it, you would think that you would have some sort of obligation to play, hang around for the bowl games, change it to where, if you're going to get your check, you got to play in whatever bowl game that your team's having, because when, there was a game I was watching the other day and it was half of the team was freshmen because
Well, I mean, Marshall could not play their game because they didn't have enough people.
Right. Because
That's why Louisiana Tech at 5-7 got invited to a bowl game because Marshall had so many people enter the portal, they didn't have enough teams. The New York Times, this was 4 days ago, a total of 1,940 football bowl subdivision scholarship players have entered the portal. And as of that Sunday, since that article, 775 of them have signed. I think that's going to have to be one of those. Those bowl predictions, I think you could, they're going to need to look and see, even though there were blowouts, what were our ratings? How much money did we bring in? And if we
money will be the main.
If we
driver.
add 13, 14, 15, and 16, can we just start off? Here's the Sweet 16. You're in it. No buys, because I think you're going to get a call from Georgia, Greg Sankey at SEC, the Big Ten commissioner. And some of these guys, hey, the buy did not help. We would rather play. I think you could see that happening as well. I do think those will be some changes as well. 3 teams that have job openings in the NFL. The Bears is open, the Saints and the Jets. We always see some teams come open that, is there anybody off the top of your head, it's not in the rundown, that you think that job opens up? I'll just go through them and you tell me yes or no. Bills, obviously not. Miami Dolphins, they keep McDaniels.
I would say, yeah.
I say
sure.
stays put.
Yeah.
Jets is already open. New England Patriots. Mayo,
Safe for now.
yeah. I don't think, if Zach Taylor and the Bengals lose, could you see Zach Taylor being gone?
I definitely could see it because they had a little flash. Joe Burrow is right now playing like the best quarterback in the NFL on a team that can't seem to win.
Right. All right, so I could see him. Kevin Stefanski. Anyway, just think about that. We don't have to go through all those because I've got some other bold predictions that I think could take place. One of them is Belichick makes the playoff first year NCAA in the.
See, I was actually going to say the opposite. It's a flop the first year.
Okay.
I don't think he will have a successful first season of college.
Well, the way that things are in college football right now, either way, I mean, you'd flip a coin. I would not be surprised at all if he stepped in there and got some stuff done. But I'm going to side with Misty if forced to pick a side, that it's not going to be as impressive as you would just maybe, not the Cinderella story of he goes in there and they just ride off into the sunset.
I'll throw this out. Brian Daboll, is he still at the Giants?
Probably shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
not working out.
No, I just think a lot of our Cam Skattebo is not successful. Ashton Genty and Skattebo struggle in the NFL.
I said before that game the other day that, and I've told you this when we've talked before, that I don't think Skattebo is an NFL running back. I'll stick with that. Before that bowl game, I would have said that Genty was, but then, big time competition out there when it really mattered. He did play well against Oregon earlier in the year, but he did not look
But
good.
if he gets drafted by the right group and has the right NFL line in front of him,
I think he could do a little bit of damage.
I'm wondering, can Cam Skattebo be a different version of Christian McCaffrey? That's who they compared him to, on reaching the yards, all the things from rushing to receiving.
He does catch the ball, and that will give him value. I just don't see him as like a every down. But a lot of people didn't see Christian McCaffrey as that either. So I'll
for the right team, I think he can get some damage done.
Cowboys right now, if it ended with draft number 12, and I'll be honest with you, we can look at it during the break. Do you want them to win Sunday, or would you rather them just lose and maybe move up to 10 or 11 on the draft?
I expect them to lose on Sunday, so I'm going to say just go ahead and do it because the Redskins still need to win for seeding purposes, because they would drop below if they lose and the Packers won, they would drop below them in seeding, and that would change who they had to play. So I think the Redskins are going to try to win, and the Cowboys will lose. So yes, their draft will improve.
Yeah, my thing is I don't know how much you've got Shadur, you got Cam Ward, you got Travis Hunter. I just don't know how, and you got Cam Skattebo and Ashton Genty, which I would not pick them in the first round. Somebody's probably going to, but I would not.
No, if you got one of those guys in the second round, I would be perfectly happy with it. But if they drafted one of those in the first, I would not be happy with it at all.
No, I agree. Hey, and when we come back, we're gonna do some take it or trash it all across. We're giving Misty the opportunity. She doesn't know it. This is not in the rundown. Take it or trash it on any topic that you want: football, college, NFL, chips, tater kegs, whatever. You can throw it out there. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this scares me more than Misty's back. We'll be back right after this.
Oh, so like a this or
I was
that?
told in that entire segment to not cough.
Blow your nose or anything in between.
Thanks for saving me, Hodge. I was almost like, water. I see it.
I was listening to something they were talking about. It was one of those bar stools about showering, and they're like, if you don't shower in the morning, you're just disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And then some are like, well, if you don't shower before going to bed, you're disgusting.
That's a good debate.
I used to, before I got
We
married.
should debate this on air.
Yeah, before I got married, I've always been a morning shower guy, and I still am. Before I got married, I had this like kind of sliding rule of like, if I wasn't really dirty at the end of the day, I wouldn't shower before bedtime. You know, like if I didn't do yard work or play golf or something like that after just working in the office all day, I wouldn't shower. But Leanne is like an absolute, you must shower before you go to bed person.
That's me.
And
I can't get into my bed if I'm dirty.
of course, I also just used to brush my teeth once a day, so that's.
We could do a little like this or that. Sports questions. And that could be one. Morning shower, nighttime shower. Door shut, going to the bathroom, door open.
Hello, beautiful people.
I'm looking up like some this or that. Yeah, we definitely need to talk the shower one. Some this or that debates. Ooh. This one's gonna be hard. I think I know what you'll say, but we'll see. Rapid fire, this or that. almost there.
So you did nothing yesterday and are struggling?
He feels like he got hit by a bus.
It's just allergies, just like, got a
I'm telling you,
slight
it's-
headache behind my eyes, you know, just,
It's
like,
just,
Wayne looked it up on the way in. We were probably Breckenridge, and it was like 10,000 elevation. Got a little, not altitude sickness, but like breathing wise was different. But it snowed like 14 inches in like 48 hours, and then another 7. It was a bunch.
do y'all go to Breckenridge every year or just different places?
That was the first time we did ski last year.
Did y'all like Breckenridge?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've never been there.
I have been to Breckenridge.
I would like to go there sometime.
One thing I've not done is I've not done gone to Colorado in the summer. I'd like to go and play golf. Welcome back, and again, the Hodge Pack is great to your ears and to your eyes if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook Live.
That's very debatable.
No, that's true story. Well, Misty's here, so they probably like Misty. But anyway, Hodge Pack Sports Live and everything in between. 2025, next week will be year 6 of the show, so appreciate everybody support from our sponsors and our listeners. We appreciate you guys so much. Looking forward to some new and different things for 2025 that we're working with, and so we appreciate the Mall of Abilene, our home, Potosi Live Studio, and of course, a lot of Lane and Cattle. Go get you a Hodge Pack this weekend. We appreciate the support, and of course, KLGD, our home radio for radio, and so KLGD 106.
Radio for radio.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Some say the face for radio. But anyway, so 2025, and we started thinking about some take it or trash it. And I told y'all that we would open it up to Misty's thoughts. And so we're going to let her go first. And of course, I've got this. It's still one of my favorite hotkeys is, of course, when Arnold says this. So, Misty, what you talking about with us as we kick off 2025? We'll let you go. Take it, trash it. We'll give you the stage. What are you going with?
I'm actually going to give y'all some like rapid fire this or that in the sports world. So
I told you I was more nervous about this than I was the Misty's bag, and this is my fault.
this or that. We'll start pretty easy. NFL or college football. You can only choose one, this or that. So
Did I have to watch or can watch?
Yeah, NFL or college football.
College.
I'm going to agree with Josh. I would go college as well.
For you, golf or NFL?
I like watching golf, believe it or not. Some people may not.
But you could never watch the NFL again.
The problem is I can never watch the NFL ever again.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this or that.
I would probably go.
Golf, really?
Well, I don't want to miss the Masters.
Oh gosh.
I would probably still pick the NFL.
Gosh,
That's a terrible question. In fact, that's a terrible question. So I'm going to go ahead and let Arnold ask it again.
Okay, March Madness or college football playoffs? So football or basketball?
Well, I mean, that's not a fair question, Misty.
It is.
It
These
is
are
not.
my
It
rules.
is.
We only have 1 year of research.
Now, if they expand the college football playoff a little bit, it might get in that same category. I'm so much more of a football fan that I'm going to have to, if I only get one, I'm going with football. But that first, round of 64 NCAA where you have, and then I guess the 32 right after that, where you've got 5 days of just basketball palooza, every channel on TV.
When you take lunch on Thursday at 10:45,
yeah,
and it ends at 3, it's a great day. Yeah, March Madness is pretty amazing. There's a reason they wanted it in football.
Yeah, no, I'm with y'all. Rivalries or dynasties?
I like dynasties that are rivalries.
I know, but no.
I hate dynasties unless they involve my team, so I'm going rivalries.
Yeah, I would. the rivalry games are fun. The rivalry games bring so much to, because even if you don't go to one, like if you're not a Michigan or Ohio State, if you're not an A&M or a Texas guy, or if you're not a Cowboys old Redskin rivalry, which was big, you could still get into those. Like this weekend, you've got the Bengals and the Steelers, big game, and you can pay attention to it. So I'm going to say rivalries for sure.
Underdogs or favorites?
Underdogs if they can finish it.
Everybody says they want an underdog until the underdog wins, and then no one cares to watch.
But do you not agree the underdog finish?
Well, if the underdog ever truly finished, then yes. But okay, so the Texas Arizona State game is a perfect example. That was the biggest spread of that round was the favorite to Texas. And it became the best game of the second round of the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. So I'll go underdog on that. But perfect example is that right there. If Arizona State would have won that game, it would have made the next game less. You would have had less enthusiasm as a general nation about Arizona State, Ohio State.
I don't believe in scripts. Okay, I don't think. The NFL, anybody, I don't believe in the script that they joked about and made the commercial. Is what happened in that game, was it not the perfect thing that could happen for college football?
Oh yeah, if you're talking about
because you had Texas on the ropes, almost like it's kind of like Rocky 1, where Apollo wins, but Rocky's trying, but it has to wait till Rocky 2 to win. Isn't that how that worked? Didn't Apollo win?
I think so.
Okay. Anyway.
I don't know. There's so many Rockies.
But I do think that was the best thing for the college football playoff. In Cam fighting big and throwing up on the sidelines, and I'm trying, but deep down, Texas Ohio State is what we're going to want.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think that would have been perfect. All right.
Okay, tailgating or eating in the stadium?
Tailgating.
Oh, because one's $1,000 cheaper. And a shout out, you can tailgate this Friday with our boys at Post Live and VIP tailgating. Vince Young is going to be at the tailgate this Friday, so go to VIP Sports, check them out. You can tailgate with the folks there on Friday. Tailgating by far.
Oh yeah. Well, and the other thing is I have a great disdain for eating with food in my lap. Like I won't sit on the couch and eat food. If you eat food at the stadium, you got to sit in the chair. There's great propensity for nachos to get on your shirt.
And Josh, I don't mean it. I mean this in a very nice way.
But
no offense, Josh, but you're 6'4". Those seats are not made for 6'4" eating
no,
people.
they're not.
And you've lost a ton of weight on your journey that you're doing live with all of us.
Yeah, he loves his weight loss journey. Transformation Tuesday.
Yeah, he appreciates doing life with us every day on this journey. But my point is, there's just not room for anything to function. The cup holder is on your knee. Tailgating about that.
Okay, so now we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We talked about this on the break. Shower at night, shower in the morning.
Well, I brought this up to Misty and Josh because as we were traveling, I was going through and, as you travel, you go through your phone and all that, and this Barstool thing popped up and it started talking about showering at night, shower in the morning. And one guy says, if you don't shower in the morning and just get up and go, you're disgusting or whatever.
I agree with that 100%.
I'm a morning guy.
I mean, now I'm like, maybe you should just do both.
I do both.
Two a day.
I'm two showers a day, sometimes three.
Some days I do 2 a day too, but most of the time I just can't get into bed without taking a shower. Like, I don't know.
I think a lot depends on, like, if we play pickleball, which I've done that in a while, I'm not going into bed just sweaty, nasty.
Yeah.
See, well, that was my thing. And like I mentioned when you first brought this up when Hodge and Misty were talking about it in the break, I've always been 100% shower in the morning. I sometimes ridiculously shower before doing things that you really don't need to be clean to go do, but it's part of my morning routine and it helps me feel good. But before I got married, I had a sliding scale of like, am I dirty enough to need to shower before I go to bed?
Am I getting approval from my wife?
But now, because Leanne was on your side, like, you can't get in your bed if you're dirty. So now it's like I just automatically shower at the end of the day. But used to, it was like, I was just in the office all day and I came home and watch a little TV. I
Didn't
don't
even
need
break
to,
a sweat. Yeah.
I don't need to shower, but now
I
I'm
wonder
both.
if that's man versus woman. It would be
I don't know.
interesting because I feel like a lot of my friends, unless they have like short hair and have to, like Tammy, I think showers every morning because she has to blow dry her hair and, because you can't just like wake up with that. Like I
Yeah.
can wake up with this hair,
It's so perfect.
I mean, I woke
Yeah.
up like this,
Josh can wake up with that. I get bad.
Yes,
pretty bad.
See, I don't.
I have to work
Obviously.
very hard to keep my hair looking this good.
Okay, pre-game or post-game analysis?
Post game.
Yeah, I've become a big fan on Monday Night Football when after it's over. Van Pelt always brings on Troy and Joe Buck, and I like seeing what they got out of the game, what they saw, what they thought post game, and it's normally shorter.
Sweet or savory foods?
I don't know what savory really is.
Savory.
Like not sweet.
Is that like sour?
No.
like
That's how you describe it. It's savory.
Yeah, there you go.
like savory, like I don't know, like
Yeah, I like how you emphasize your second
Like,
like
great.
it matters.
If you keep saying, eventually Hodge is going to get it. Just keep it up. Try once more. Let's see if he gets it this time.
I feel like we're playing charades and you're doing the same thing.
It's like you are yummy.
Yeah.
Yummy. Can sweet food not be yummy? You're confusing me now. I think that like a sausage ball is just like something like a
Yeah.
savory snack. And
Of course, yes.
like gravy
Gravy's amazing.
is savory.
Gravy is amazing.
Savory, yes.
Oh,
Beach or mountain trip?
no,
Mountains.
I just came from them. They were great, but so like when you go skiing, there's so much effort to put in all those layers, and I'm pretty sure
Skiing is exhausting.
I'm pretty sure Satan created the ski boot because when you go to try to
Yes.
take it off, it doesn't come off very easy.
I like to go to the mountains in the summer though.
Yeah, I do too. You can't go. The beach is universal. I'm a beach fan.
Drive or fly?
Where we going?
I mean, road trip. I don't know.
I like the road trips. I like the drivable road trips. I'm not gonna lie, those are fun. When Tracy and I did that, when we did the whole Niagara Falls and all that, we flew to. It was good. All right, you just have another one.
Joint bank accounts or separate bank accounts? This is a hot topic for married people.
Feel free to call First Bank and Trust.
Joint bank accounts are usually better.
Yeah, Clay and I are joint. Everything is all together. But hey, if it works, you do you.
All right, we got 2 minutes left. Again, we may this or that may be coming into play post football. How long will it take you to trash it? All right, who you got? UT. We will have a show next Friday. Both of these games, one will be Thursday, one will be Friday. We got less than a minute. Who do you have? UT, Ohio State. Who do you have, Misty?
I'm going to Ohio State. I want Texas to win, but if Ohio State comes out like they did against Oregon, that is going to be a tall order for Texas, and some of their struggles that got exposed by Arizona State. Their kicker needs to get his life together. Also, I'm going to Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Penn State, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
I got Texas, Notre Dame in the finals. No sense in changing it now. Appreciate everybody. First show of 2025. Lots of stuff. Download, subscribe, rate, review if you missed any of it. JB Cloud coming in. Don't forget Greg Austin this afternoon. And get ready for a great weekend of football, the final game for the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see you next week. Hodge Pack, Sports Life, and everything in between.
Oh.